Alright, so just clarifying here, I am not going to be using this radiator. It looks great and everything, but only recommending it for ATX builds, or you have an SFF case that is not SFF. That's basically it. So, if you're one of those 20 liter guys, yeah, go ahead if you really like Corsair, but I'm not gonna recommend this. The only reason why is because this little pseudo Commander Pro that they include is mandatory, and it takes up a lot of space. And they have a proprietary USB connection cable that goes from here onto your motherboard, and it's just a hassle. Like, it's just not worth. So yeah, this looks like an octopus because I was attaching a third fan to it. I was actually using this one for my VRMs when I had it on the little ITX test bench. The tubing and the fittings on this are really nice. It's not a custom loop, but it's like, I love the way it feels. I honestly wanted to build not a loop, but just my own little rad with I want to build my own AIO just with nice fittings, because on the other AIO, it doesn't feel this good. The pump block on this is really nice. You know how a copper cold plate looks, but yeah, if you could not be forced into using this, I would say it's worth it, but you have to. So you have to if you want fan RPMs controlled via coolant temperature. If you don't use this, you can't do that, and that's kind of the main reason why I didn't buy an EK240 AIO. Anyway, so I'm going to be using the other AIO that I have that I don't think any of you guys remember. So, 1 second. Okay, so it's this one. It's kind of dusty. It's kind of like scratched up. I did buy it used, so I don't literally scratch up my rads. The only damage I've done to this radiator is this. You see it? That's the stain from the liquid metal. It's just a stain. It doesn't affect the performance. You can go watch the Gamers Nexus video on it. Anyway, so this pump block is 28 millimeters. This one is 51. I thought that, this is like the EK rad, the EK AIO, where it has a bigger block on top, and it's a better pump. It's quieter. If you've seen the reviews, the EK240 AIO is like the best performing 240 besides, the 28, the 38 millimeter thick Arctic 240 AIO. So, that doesn't count. If it's 8 millimeters bigger radiator, I'm not going to be using these cream fans anymore. This one's Dremeled because I used to have it in a Ghost S1 with a L12S. I had to bend it, so that's why it's Dremeled. Because if you had a Z390 Strix board or an ASRock Phantom Gaming ITX Z390 like I did, the motherboard VRM was too thick. It was like too big onto the side, so I had to Dremel it so it fit, and then you'd offset it a bit. Yeah, but if you see the tubing on this, let's just put that like that. The tubing on this, I know it. I have the little zip tie on it, but the fittings aren't as nice, and it doesn't move as nice. Like these are nice. These are nice. Anyway, that has nothing to do with like any of this. So yeah, that's enough explaining this AIO stuff. Okay, there, it's gone. So the actual part that matters is I'm going to be, here you can see it. So I sold my Intel stuff, obviously. So this is a 3950X. So I don't know if it says it anywhere in the box, but you can just see it like that. Yep, like that. and then it says the 9 on it. So I mean, if you guys have purchased this then you know. It's my first one. And then this is a B550 ORS ITX motherboard. I wanted to get something that was similar to like a Strix Z490i, but there are no dual front NVMe heatsink. Like so basically this Strix Z490 ITX board allows you to put 2 NVMe drives under the heatsink on the front of the motherboard, and then it has a fan or a chipset fan cooling the chipset and the motherboard. I mean, my bad. I mean, it helps the motherboard VRMs, but it also will help your NVMe's be cooled. So that was the appeal. I mean, as long as my NVMe drives can be around 60 degrees Celsius, like I just don't want it to be 70 or 80. I just don't want it to be at that max limit of whatever the the manufacturer allows for their max recommended temperature. I just don't want it to be that hot. I know NVMe's or NAND likes heat, and then the controller does not. So the controller would be 10 degrees Celsius higher. So I didn't want that. Anyway, so yeah, so obviously I'm gonna build this. So yeah, I just want to explain the AIO thing before I move forward with it. And somebody's like, "Oh, well, why don't you use that one? It looks cooler." Yeah, dude, it looks cooler, but there's really just no way around it. This one, all the little has a bunch of wires. The other one, at least they cleaned it up with just one, and then it has separate. But you know what I mean. This one is for your fan splitters. This one is for your pump SATA power, and this one is for the CPU fan header. So, wow, did I miss something? Oh yeah. Over here is the micro USB port where you will plug in the what's it called? The micro USB, and you plug it into the USB 2.0 header on your motherboard, and that's how you control, the pump. Well, not the pump, but that's how you get the data of the coolant temperature on this, and then your fans can run based off the coolant temperature. So yeah, alright, so we'll get this started.